Nation Media Group, NTV is just one of them, have been restricted. They can't cover the president. So when the Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi mentioned his parliament, I don't know whether this is a deliberate effort to strangle that particular media institution.
It's no longer a secret. Nation Media Group Uganda, the powerhouse behind NTV Uganda, Daily Monitor, KFM, Dembe FM and Spark TV, has become persona non grata to two of the country's top arms of government. As of Tuesday, accredited NTV and Daily Monitor journalists assigned to cover parliamentary proceedings were unceremoniously turned away at the gate. Their credentials meant nothing, the explanation even less. Instructions from above.
I understand the circumstances comes from the few coverages they've had, for which may have been discomfortable to some actors in this House, but it's their right. So, Right Honourable Speaker, as we go towards the election, tolerance, press freedom is so critical, and hearing alternative views, no matter how uncomfortable we are with them, they have the right to say so.
This latest act of exclusion is not an isolated incident, but rather a continuation of an unspoken government pattern, one that began months ago. For close to 8 months now, NMG journalists have been locked out of any event graced by President Museveni with no official justification made. The only brief exception came in September during the visit of His Royal Highness Aga Khan V, the founder and principal of the Aga Khan Development Network, which owns Nation Media Group. On that day, NTV cameras were reluctantly allowed to cover a joint function at the Aga Khan University in Nakawa, where President Museveni and the Aga Khan shared a stage. But soon after, the status quo resumed. At the Electoral Commission headquarters in Lubowa during presidential nominations, NTV journalists were explicitly told by a Special Forces Command officer, NTV doesn't access where the president is.
I am not in position to give you first-hand information of what happened inside there, about 1.5 kilometers at the EC grounds, for reasons that I already stated earlier. As Nation Media Group were denied access to the ground there by the presidential guards, that is the Special Forces Command, for reasons best known to them. But what I can be able to tell you is what transpired outside here.
The ban has since extended beyond State House activities. Even during the ongoing NRM campaign trail, NTV remains conspicuously absent, resorting to airing stories with courtesy footage supplied by the Presidential Press Unit. Now Parliament, the supposed guardian of citizens' voices, has followed suit, blocking NMG journalists from covering legislative proceedings. The development has sparked a storm of criticism from media rights advocates who describe it as an orchestrated assault on press freedom and the right to information.
It's a signal of the many problematic trends that have been coming over time. You have to remember that during the Kawempe North by-election, Nation Media Group journalists and other journalists were targeted and beaten up for covering that by-election. And we have had such similar incidences in the past, and there has never been accountability for those violations. So what happened in Parliament, I think, is part of a larger or bigger democratic or shrinking civic space that we continue to see in the country. And as human rights lawyers, we find it deeply troubling because the media is the bulwark for democracy. It's the pillar for accountability and transparency and any open governance that you can think about. So if the media is silenced or denied access to news sources such as covering Parliament or covering the President when he's engaged in public functions, it's something like that is deeply troubling and of course contravenes the Constitution, in particular Article 29 and Article 41, which provide for the right of access to information.
By blocking NTV and any other media house from accessing Parliament, you basically are saying that a citizen is not entitled to receiving information. And in that regard, I think Parliament is actually abrogating the Access to Information Act, which it passed itself. An act that it should be defending, it is actually taking lead in terms of abrogation of that act.
Analysts argue that the government's increasingly intolerant attitude toward independent media exposes a deeper rot. the weakness of regulatory and statutory institutions that should protect the fourth estate.
When we don't see those institutions that are supposed to regulate the media houses, which are actually supposed to come in and help these media houses, it is really absurd, because that all these institutions are quiet and they're not advocating for the rights of the journalists. These regulations were put in place to help streamline and also bring on board those people who are actually going against those people who are going against the professionalism of journalism. But if you see that these journalists are actually paying attention to their professionalism, then there is no reason as to why some other institutions can come in to cut their rights or to interfere in their rights.
I think even just looking at the developments of yesterday, by now the Uganda Communications Commission or the Media Council should have issued a statement which is either explaining why a media house is being blocked from accessing Parliament, or even seeking clarity from Parliament on this, but we haven't yet seen that. So essentially what that means is that there's a whole scheme that is not just from one institution of Parliament.
As media analysts put it, this is not just about Nation Media Group. It's a warning shot to every newsroom that critical reporting can easily be punished by exclusion.
We hope that cooler heads will prevail, and we hope that in this situation that Nation Media Group finds itself in, the entire media fraternity can rally together to come and stand with you, because an attack on you as NMG is an attack on other media houses and an attack on freedoms. So we hope that the entire association of broadcasters and us as human rights lawyers and civil society actors and any other Ugandan who really believes in democratic values will stand with you to be able to push back.
Today is NTV, tomorrow it will be another media house. So we need to stand together. And Uganda Parliament has Uganda Parliamentary Press Association. What is it doing? Before they even come to you, it is supposed to be Uganda Parliamentary Press Association to intervene and protect you before they even come to ban you from covering Parliament. Or even Uganda Journalists Association should be on board to see that they are protecting journalists. That's why these associations are in place.
If a nation begins to fear its own media, then it has begun to fear the truth itself. 8 months on, Nation Media Group through NTV and Daily Monitor remain shut out from presidential coverage, and now even Parliament has joined the list. But let's be clear, this isn't just about NMG. It's about the soul of journalism, the essence of free expression, and the state of our democracy. Because what we are witnessing isn't mere censorship. It's democracy standing in the dock, waiting to see if justice will speak. David IJJO, NTV, Tonight.